Hey everybody, Papa Todd Takes. I am Papa Todd and I am here to do a little preview of the 2026 Iowa football season, keeping in mind that I am by no means an X's and O's guy. I do not spend a lot of time delving into the expertise that most people out there on these channels do. I am just a fan. That's it. I'm the Joe Blow fan. I know the positions. I know some of the basic plays. I know some of the basics. I am not a deep diver into it. I have no inside loop into the Hawkeyes. None of this stuff. So that being said, this is just a regular Joe Blow, my take on what it is after 55 years of watching my Hawkeyes, right? So I'm taking a lot of stuff in. I will tell you that Elliott Clough, I get some stuff out of Elliott Clough. I get a lot of stuff off the washed up walk-ons. Really enjoy them. There's another duo out there that does some stuff. I'm blanking on names. I'll go back in and find out who they are. I'll put them in the comments section so I can link these guys in. There's a lot of really good content out there that I get my stuff from. So this is just me having a little bit of fun and trying to hone my skills on this internet stuff, so as I'm trying to get another thing going up and going somewhere else on it. So what I'm going to do today, and first of all, like and subscribe. I'd love for you guys to give me some feedback on this so I can work on my presence a little better and get things going in other areas based on my profession, so to speak. So I just kind of want to talk about it, what I've been hearing, what my gut feel going in, and I'm guessing this is a lot of Hawkeyes. Now, one of the things to tell you guys is I have moved away from Iowa. I have not lived in Iowa now. I think the last year I lived in Iowa was 2013. So I make at least a game a year, if not two. We go to the bowl games. I watch everything as closely as I can. We're down here in Tennessee now, so I'm sporting the Hawkeye logo everywhere in town and taking on the Vols down here is what I'm doing. So we'll go through it. But I'm going to go what I'm hearing this year by group. And so I took some notes. I got them up on here. You guys will see me every once in a while reach on here. I'll probably just keep these on as I'm going through this, kind of say what I'm saying and what my gut feel is going into the year. But I'm telling you, my initial gut feel in this, I'm high on the Hawkeyes this year. I'm not always like that, but I'm like that when the tells from Kirk Ferentz start showing up. And it's quiet this year. It is quiet coming out of Iowa City. Maybe you guys in Iowa, tell me, are you guys in Iowa hearing more than I'm hearing here? But it just seems really quiet coming out of camp, which usually is a good thing. Right? A good thing. I don't like a lot of hype coming out of camp, but now we're mixed, because now it's the hype we're hearing is not the normal hype. So I keep hearing about this Tony Diaz guy, and why, heaven forbid Iowa have a quarterback that can complete a pass and a receiving group that can run routes and get some separation. But it sounds like we may be on the verge of something like that, right? So Tim Lester overall, the first year he came into a mess. Next year he had to kind of adapt his offense to fit the quarterback versus having his own guys in there that are used to the system and learning it. So now he's got a couple guys that have been in there a couple years. They're learning the system. He didn't go searching the transfer portal, which tells me they probably got who they want. Right? They think the guys that they have in that room between Hank Brown and Jeremy Huklinski can run the system. And then you got this is it Traden Bessinger, or am I close on that? The freshman that's in there in the wings, kind of waiting to jump up and do something. So it sounds like at the Kids Day practice, Huklinski really set himself out. Now, both Tim Lester and Kirk Ferentz afterwards says, understand that was just a snapshot. That was a one-day picture, right? And so anybody who's been around this long enough knows, right, you can have a bad day, and sometimes for whatever reason it happens. And I never put stock into what I see at that Kids Day practice. It's not even a real practice, right? It's like this half-ass thing that they do, and they're limiting what you're gonna see and all this good stuff. You know, Ferentz likes to keep things close to the chest. So take it as what it's worth, but I just have a feeling that Tim Lester, and I'm liking Tim Lester. The more I hear him talk, the more I see him interact with plays, the more I see. And I think Ferentz is starting to, I think he's found his guy. I think they have a lot of the same vision, and he doesn't, and I think he's trusting him enough to start letting him slip his system in a little more and maybe take a few more chances. I hope that's what we see, not to the point where we're losing games because of stupid chances. But we do. That's the one thing, if anything, with Ferentz that I wish he would do, would loosen up a little bit on the offense. But I'm also this guy, just to let everybody know. So I've been on the fire Ferentz bandwagon in the past and all this stuff. I'm not that way anymore. I'm at the point now where the man has earned the right to go out the way he wants to go out. Now, I don't want him taking the team all the way down the tank, kind of like the last year or two under Fry. But I'm not seeing that happening here. We're still up there. We're still fighting every year. We're in the mix at the end of the season. And now I do not like the world that has been created for college football with the regional differences going away, NIL, paying the players, and there's no controls over it. I'm a traditionalist, but guys, that ship has sailed. It's gone. So now I'm in on it. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look at what are the positives that come out of this. And well, if you're an Iowa fan, the positives that come out of it is that we survived the most recent breakup and we're in one of the Power Two. We're in one of the Power Two, and it's not going to spread back out. It's just not, right? And so there's a separation. And so now where you had Iowa always kind of right here, and you had your 2 and 3 star players, the occasional 4-star player, and with that level of talent, Iowa built its roster when it was able to jump up here and compete at the highest levels. Now, no national titles, no, but they're just right there, right? Well, so now with the way the NIL and the money coming into the conferences, and I did a little bit yesterday about Iowa State and all this good stuff. Well, what you got going on now is Iowa's now starting to load up on 4 stars, and you're getting a couple 5 stars every now and then. Because those players, they don't want to play in the subs, right? They don't want to play down in the Big 12 and the ACC and the MAX anymore. They want to go where they can get paid, and they're going to get paid the most going to the bigs, right? And so we've survived that. We've come out on top. So with that now, with more talent, is Iowa closer? Are we closing the gap? I'm not saying we're Ohio State, and I'm not saying we'll ever be Ohio State, but if we've closed that gap even just a little bit, I think all of a sudden you're at a place where we're contending every once in a while, like seriously contending. I mean, what could Ferentz do with that roster? With 4s and 5s that fit the system, right? I remember early on they got some 4s and 5s that just crashed out. But I think they've learned from that, and now these kids that they're bringing in fit the system. And that's exciting as a Hawkeye fan. At least for me it is. I hope it is for everybody else. But anyway, so I think we are. And the good thing is we finally get to push that Iowa State, those schmucks and idiots out, get them away from us, right? Their preseason warm-up game. If you have a kid that you develop that gets good enough, we'll pay him and take him away from you, right? So we get something like that. So anyway, here's just like I said, no inside information, and I am definitely not one of these guys that can rattle off every play and stuff like that. Just played in high school and have been following it my whole life, but I don't put a lot of scholastic studies into this, right? So here we go. This is what I'm hearing, and I took some notes. So it looks like our number 1 position group this year, what everybody's saying is the running backs. You got Kamari Moulton back, and then you got is it LJ Phillips? LJ Phillips, I think is his name. I didn't write that one down. I think it's LJ Phillips or something like that out of South Dakota that they're saying. I heard, I think it might have been Elliot Clough said that it was he was a rolling ball of butcher knives, right? And that kind of that Sean Green-esque kind of a thing. So I'm excited to see him. I haven't seen any clips of him yet, and so it sounds good. And then you have Nathan McNeil and Xavier Williams that got some playing time in last year that looked really good. So the number 1 thing for a good season for Iowa is a good running game. It seems like we got that, and to back that up, last year's Joe Moore award-winning line isn't there anymore, but a couple of the key pieces are back, and the people in the know that I'm hearing are saying this group could challenge for it again. You have Cade Pieper, and then another name, and then they keep saying this, and I'm stealing this from some of the stuff I've been hearing, right? But it is true over the years that when you listen to the preseason talk and Kirk Ferentz and some of the coaching staff start bringing up names, you know, you're not asking them about these players. They just kind of bring up a name out of anywhere. And what's the kid's name? Cale Winner is the name I'm hearing for the first time myself. It doesn't, insiders probably been hearing his name, but as a center. And so Cade Pieper goes to his more natural guard. If you can do that, and then you have your backup, you got Leighton Jones and Mislinski, if he's able to fill in and step up, and you do all this, all of a sudden Iowa's got another solid line with solid running back staple. And that begins it for everybody, followed up by tight ends group. And is that my number 3? It is. Number 3 group, right? So you have DJ Vanami, who really stepped up and showed out last year. I mean, he is a stud, and he will be back to do it again this year, right? So that's good. What else we got? Astrenga and Ortworth back. So that's good. And then there's another kid in there that I'm blanking on this guy's name too, but it sounds good. So you got your offensive line. You have the extension of the offensive line with the tight end group. You have a stable of stud running backs, which we do. Now it's just, can we stay healthy? Because if we have that, that is the formula for traditionally good Iowa offenses. And again, Iowa doesn't have to have a top 10 offense. All they have to have is, say, a top 50 or 60 offense with Phil Parker's defense, which we'll talk about here, right? No matter how much we lose on defense, we're never at the bottom of the Big Ten. We're always in the top half of the Big Ten. It's always going to be a solid defense. So if you have an offense that can put points up, holy smokes. Now you're cooking with gas. Here we go, right? And so the tight end position, excellent, right? Again, a lot of this now we got to start talking about that quarterback room. I'll get to that later. Let's keep going down in order of strength, at least from what I'm hearing. Defensive line is going to be solid. It's rebuilding, but it's solid. We got players there. We know what Iowa's defensive lines look like with Phil Parker at the helm. You got Meriwether, Hawthorne, and this Kamari Brown. I'm really interested to see this guy after what I'm hearing. Sounds like he's really stepped up, and I think I think this is the guy that came in and just put on tons of weight in the offense, like in a good way. It sounds like he's balling out in practice and making everybody there. So defensive line going to be solid. Iowa linebackers, we just keep reloading. Every time we go into panic mode about this because we lose somebody in the NFL, somebody else steps up, and that's what looks like is going to be the group this year. I'm blanking on any of their names right now, but that's what's going on. Cornerback, you have Lutmer, the stud of the whole team, probably the best football player on the entire team, it sounds like, or up there anyway, and he could be the next guy from Iowa's defensive backfield that ends up going pro. Zach Lutmer really had a year last year. Looking forward to that. So, again, Phil Parker, defensive backs, we'll be fine. We just got to wait to see who the names are that are going to emerge. So we're going to be good there. And then a safety, again, Phil Parker, defensive backs. I'm not worried about it. And we start the year off right with, the load isn't heavy at the beginning of the year. So it gets these guys some good playing reps and really work on their timing, find out what in real time do they need to work on. So now it goes into this. Wide receivers. Iowa sounds like we may actually have wide receivers that can run and separate and catch the ball. And I have been hearing so much. I'm trying to temper my expectations. But again, I'm unhinged. I'm unhinged. I'm a lunatic Iowa fan, right? And it sounds like this Tony Diaz might be the real deal. Like we may actually have somebody. And we may actually have a quarterback that can hit him in stride. For so many years, it seemed like Iowa's quarterback went backwards. Like they started out, they had their first year, and then they kept getting hamstrung by things. It sounds like Hiklinski from again, it's a snapshot of just one day, but it sounds like in the kid's day, and from the clips I saw, just short little clips, he was leading guys. They didn't have to stop and turn back for the ball. They were going up and getting it when he threw it. They say Hank Brown is actually the better passer of the two. I have yet to really see that play out. But that's the more traditional Iowa type quarterback, a game manager type that Ferentz likes to see. So we'll wait and see. But between the wide receivers and a quarterback that now fits the system, if the quarterbacks have been in there a couple years, which they have, and they're learning the system, they can hit these guys in stride. Holy shnikes, we may actually have point threat. And if these quarterbacks can hit that group of tight ends that we just talked about, holy smokes. There. But then here's the thing that makes me just clinch as an Iowa fan, and here's how you know I'm an Iowa fan, because no other team would do this. No other group of fans in the country would be worried about it. But our special teams group on our kicking game is a complete unknown. We lose LeVar Woods, we lose our punters, we lose our kicker. It's all new. It's a complete unknown going into this. And so what the hell? Who are we going to have? Is Lutmer going to be our return guy? I don't know. This is the one that has me scratching my head and really concerned. What are we going to do this year? So we'll wait and see, right? So what do I see coming out of this? I see a 9-3 season, maybe 10-2, but more than likely 9-3, maybe an 8-4. I went through the schedule, and I'm going to go through this here, guys. I'm going to go through it, but I think the schedule sets up nice with a gauntlet in the middle that scares the shnikes out of me, right? So Northern Illinois, Iowa State, and Northern Iowa, all three, all in Iowa City. Iowa State, which is the biggest gut cramper in the group, completely new team, 81% of their team gone with Matt Campbell. New guy comes in. There's just too much rebuilding going on there, and unless we completely blow it off and overlook them, we should win that. And I don't think Ferentz is going to let that happen anymore. He doesn't get us up for the Iowa State game as much as I'd like, or at least that's the appearance to me. But I don't think we got to worry about Northern Illinois, Iowa State, or Northern Iowa. I just don't. That's where I'm going into it. We're 3-0. And then the next three games. These are, a lot of people have us losing all three. We go, the Big Ten opener is at Michigan. Well, they got a new coach too this year. If we're going to get one of the three, and this is at Michigan, Ohio State and Iowa City, and at Washington. At Washington, Friday night, West Coast, short week after probably getting our asses handed to us by Ohio State. I'm not feeling good about that one. So I have Washington as a loss. I have Ohio State as a loss. Yes, it's in Kinnick. It's just too early on in the year, I think, for us to really be able to compete where we want to. I don't think it'll be a blowout loss. I think we lose. I think we lose by, maybe single digits. But I don't think we're built to hang with Ohio State this year. I just don't. So that leaves the at Michigan game on September 26th, Big Ten opener. I think we can sneak that one out. So I'm chalking that one up as a win. Again, black and gold glasses. I'm good with that. I'm unhinged. I'm not going to lose any money if they lose, because I don't bet, right? So, and if you see my predictions, the way things pan out, you will soon see why I don't bet. I'm just not good at this, right? So then we have an off week. We have a bye week, October 17th, and then we go into our final 6 games. I like how this sets up. We have a week off to prepare to go into Minnesota, heal up after that rough road trip and everything like this. At Minnesota, we go in. We got flex number. We win that one. That lines up well for us, right? And then in Iowa City, we got Wisconsin. We win that one. In Iowa City, if it was at Wisconsin, I'd have a little more heartburn about it, but I just think we win that one. At Northwestern, hey, we get to see the new stadium finally once and for all. That ought to be pretty cool. We'll beat Northwestern this year. I don't know much about them. I haven't gone into all my other team preseason stuff yet. I'm not scared of Northwestern right now. Fitzgerald's been gone. He was my scare at Northwestern. Nobody else there does. Not right now. Purdue in Iowa City. We beat Purdue. At Illinois, and then Nebraska in Iowa City. So I hate saying this. I think we lose to Burt at Champaign. I just hate playing there. There's always something weird that goes up there. Burt gets his team up for this game, whether it be high winds or running backs going down with bad knees. I don't know what, something. I just do not like playing Champaign or Urbana, and that's where we go. So I have that as a loss. But then I have us beating Nebraska in Iowa City, and hopefully that one destroys their season again and we do it again. So 9-3 season, uninformed, completely unhinged, irrational take on the season. That's what Papa Todd said, everybody. Go Hawks. The season's right around the corner. Let's do her. Papa Todd takes. I'm Papa Todd. Go Hawks. Have a great week, all.